And you asked us to look into this because, well, it's a great prelude to understanding the character of Polyphemus in Christopher Nolan's highly anticipated new movie, The Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, the one featuring Bill Irwin and Matt Damon. Right?
That's the one.
Yeah.
And, I mean, reading this book is just the perfect way to get ready for that film. And it kind of serves as a great review of The Odyssey in general, because it takes this classic, heavy Greek tragedy, the myth of Polyphemus the Cyclops, Galatea the sea nymph, and Acis, and it reimagines it entirely from the perspective of a highly neurotic, overly opinionated sheep named Bleatsby.
Which is such a brilliant angle. I mean, it operates almost like a clickbait-style deconstruction of a mythological romance.
Oh, totally clickbaity.
By stripping away the grand cosmic narrative of the gods and the heroes, the text forces us to look at a very profound psychological question, albeit one that is, covered in wool.
Right.
We're basically looking at what actually happens when a literal monster tries to act civilized just to win someone's love.
And it does not go well. But they know he's a ticking time bomb of suppressed hunger. And with this terrifying new civilized persona locked in, Polyphemus decides it is finally time to make his pitch to Galatea.
Ah, the seduction attempt. It is an absolute masterclass in failed communication.
It really is. He goes to the edge of the sea to serenade her. And Bleatsby refuses to describe the actual song because it was too traumatic, but he does give us this vivid analogy.
Let's hear it.
He says the Cyclops singing sounded like a walrus giving birth to a bag of angry cats while simultaneously falling down a mountain.
Which sonically just perfectly represents the chaos inside of him. But the lyrics, rather the pitch he makes to the sea nymph, that's where the psychological core of the story really solidifies.
Oh, the pitch is amazing. He starts screaming at the ocean, demanding she leave the water, and he just lists his assets to prove what a great catch he is.
Very romantic.
He yells that he has a spacious cave, he has 1,000 sheep, and then, his crowning achievement, he brags about his rather nice collection of skulls.
A collection that the sheep are acutely aware of, by the way. Bleatsby points out the flock never grazes in that corner of the caves because they know those skulls used to belong to people.
I was genuinely crying laughing at this part. He is pitching human remains like an Airbnb amenity.
Right. Come for the cave, stay for the skulls.
Exactly. Come stay at my cave. We have high ceilings, fresh clover, and a complimentary pile of skeletal remains. Galatea tells him no. She explains she is in love with Acis. Acis is a normal, two-eyed man, and crucially, he writes beautiful poetry.
So she rejects his performative civilization for actual culture? And how does our newly reformed, gentle giant handle this bruised ego?
Oh, it is an immediate regression. The moping phase begins. He stomps back to the cave and sits down so heavily that he triggers a localized earthquake.
More tremors.
Yeah, and the shockwave dislodges this massive stalactite from the ceiling, which falls and lands squarely on a sheep named Brian.
But the text notes that Brian survives this entirely because sheep are bouncy.
Thank God for Brian's bounciness, honestly. But the moping quickly escalates into, quote, the incident.
Here we go.
Polyphemus is wandering the meadow when he spots Galatea and Acis together, and the sight of them completely shatters whatever thin layer of civility he had left. His face turns purple, the boulder method grooming is completely unraveled, and he charges at them.
And we get this incredible contrast in the source material here. You have a raging, bloodshot giant bearing down on them, and Acis, the refined poet, simply looks up and says, "Oh dear."
Oh dear.
Which brings us to the present day of Bleatsby's narrative, the aftermath of the failed experiment.
The aftermath is so pathetic it's almost sad. Polyphemus essentially transforms into a depressed indie rock frontman.
It's a great way to put it.
He refuses to eat meat, but instead of trying to be civilized, he's just punishing himself. He sits in the cave eating handfuls of grass.
A detail that deeply offends the sheep, by the way, because that is their primary food source. He's stealing their dinner to fuel his depression.
He sits there, chewing grass, sighing at the moon, and pretending he cannot hear the newly formed River Acis singing mockingly outside his cave door. But the real kicker is that he has learned absolutely nothing from the experience.
Nothing at all.
Late at night, Bleatsby hears the Cyclops whispering to himself in the dark. He whispers, "I should have led with the sheep. Women like sheep."
He's still hung up on the checklist. He still thinks the seduction failed because he presented his assets in the wrong order, rather than the fact that he was a terrifying monster who lacked basic empathy.
He genuinely believes that if he had just hidden the skulls and pushed Dandelion and Brian to the front, Galatea would have swooned. The sheer lack of introspection is wild.
It is wild. And, this perfectly sets up his character for the actual Odyssey, right? Like, looking at this as a review of that classic encounter.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about that.
The Odyssey gives us a Polyphemus who has regressed completely back to a monster. He is done with his grass-eating phase.
Yeah, he's back to eating people.
And there's that great lore with the prophet Telemus that ties into all this ego.
Remind me about Telemus.
So Telemus was a prophet who actually predicted that Polyphemus would eventually lose his single eye to a guy named Odysseus.
Oh, right. But Polyphemus just kind of ignores it or forgets.
Yeah, his ego is so huge, he assumes anyone who could blind him would be a giant warrior, not just some normal human-sized guy.
So when Odysseus actually blinds him and is escaping...
Odysseus does the classic arrogant hero thing.
Exactly.
In this massive fit of pride, as he's sailing away, Odysseus literally taunts the Cyclops and shouts his real name. He can't help himself.
Which is a huge mistake.
Huge! Because then Polyphemus remembers the prophecy from Telemus, and since his dad is Poseidon, the god of the sea, he just prays to him to curse Odysseus' whole journey home.
Which is literally the plot of the rest of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And knowing all of this backstory about how fragile and petty Polyphemus' ego is makes that upcoming Christopher Nolan movie so much more exciting to think about.
Totally. To see Bill Irwin play that kind of broken, toxic giant against Matt Damon's Odysseus, it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be fantastic. But going back to Bleatsby's tale, this brings us to the end of the text, where the sheep are debating the moral of the story, because of course the livestock have opinions on this drama.
Naturally. The flock is split into 3 distinct camps.
First, we have Dandelion, the camouflaged sheep. Her takeaway is purely communicative. She thinks the Cyclops should have just used his words and asked Galatea what she actually wanted.
A highly evolved, emotionally mature take from a sheep.
Then we have Brian, the bouncy sheep who survived the stalactite. Brian thinks the problem is the Cyclops' energy. He suggests Polyphemus needs a less violent hobby. Maybe something soothing to occupy his hands, like pottery.
A practical behavioral redirection. Give the giant clay so he stops picking up rocks.
And finally, we have our narrator, Bleatsby. Bleatsby rejects both of those ideas. His moral is incredibly cynical. He thinks Polyphemus should have just stayed a monster from the very beginning.
Yep.
Are we supposed to agree with Bleatsby here? It feels so pessimistic to say, don't even try to improve.
It sounds pessimistic, but within the context of the story, Bleatsby is actually offering a highly practical warning.
How so?
Well, look at the collateral damage of Polyphemus' improvement. He starved himself, he terrorized his pets with the threat of eating them, he violently crushed a man out of sheer entitlement, and now he's eating the flock's food out of depression.
Right, made everything worse.
Exactly. Bleatsby isn't saying that true personal growth is impossible. He's saying that forced, superficial transformation, changing your exterior without addressing the rot in your interior, is incredibly dangerous to everyone around you.
Because when the disguise eventually slips, the resulting explosion is way worse than if you had just been honest about your flaws from the start.
Exactly. Bleatsby's final takeaway is basically a survival guide. Don't trust reformed giants whose motives are selfish, run from anyone showing off a skull collection, and rivers make much better neighbors than people because they don't sing loudly at you.
It is a phenomenal distillation of the text. So pulling all of this together, which leaves me with a final thought for you, listening, to mull over as you go about your day. We all do this to some degree, right?
Oh, for sure.
When you are trying to impress someone, whether it's a new romantic partner, a boss, or a friend, take a hard look at your own metaphorical skull collection.
We all have one.
We really do. What weird, off-putting, or ego-driven things are you proudly displaying in your life, entirely convinced that they make you a catch, when in reality, they are sending people running for the hills?
It's a tough question to ask yourself.
It is. Instead of rearranging your resume or trying to force a new personality, maybe, like Dandelion suggested, you'd be better off just taking a breath and asking the other person what they actually value.
Definitely.
Because trust me, no matter how great you think your flock is, nobody wants you to lead with the sheep.